The world is burning, but my virtual plants are thriving. This is StardewValley, the cozy farming simulation game that has sold more than 41 million copies and is all about inheriting your late grandpa's farm to break out from your corporate desk job. Yet this is also StardewValley, a farming-themed micromanagement simulator that has you look out for multiple things and people at the same time, all while you raise chickens, water your crops, and find valuable gems in the mine to give to the love of your virtual life twice a week. StardewValley is what a lot of people would consider a cozy game. It throws you right into a small village full of lovable characters, except maybe Morris, and gives you the freedom to run and design your farm however you like. There is no limit on time to explore the intricate secrets of the world around you, except for Grandpa's undead ghost breathing down your neck. Yet between deadlines and chores and the noise of our everyday lives, we seemingly still find joy in rearranging pixel furniture and feeding cartoon chickens, no matter how daunting it becomes. But why is that? What is so special about cozy games like StardewValley? Why do they still work even when stressing us to achieve something? And most importantly, why do we need cozy games at all when we could just read a book or watch a movie instead? What makes cozy games so enticing to a lot of people? This is a short hike. Not literally, but it is the name of a small indie game that sold over 500,000 copies and provides a non-linear story about finding your way to the top of a mountain for, well, mental relief. Just like StardewValley, it is considered a cozy game by a lot of people. Reviews praise its open exploration, charming pixel art, and relaxing, no-pressure nature of giving you tasks and goals to achieve. When starting up a game, there are endless reasons for why we might decide to do so. Cozy games have a special place in the realm of gaming. Modern life already feels like a game full of quests, levels, and mental overload leaning towards burnout. In theory, the main aim of cozy games should be to oppose this and to provide us with agency over our own actions, reward us with progress, and to let us explore thoughts and feelings in safety. And AShortHike does exactly that. It provides the players with a small world that feels in control while offering incremental goals and achievements throughout. At no point of time are you forced to go a certain direction or to complete a certain quest. But to eventually crest the mountain, you have to collect golden feathers that you can either find by exploring or by completing quests. While there's no explicit obligation to do any of that at any point of the game, you as the player intrinsically understand that to claim a breath of the thin air on the summit, you have to achieve something. Do something. And that gives you purpose. Something to work towards too, but always at your own pace. A place where failure doesn't necessarily exist and where rewards for taking initiative and exploring stand above the need for punishment for laziness. Something that a lot of cozy games share and definitely have in common. But this begs the question, how do these games work? What keeps us playing and what makes us come back to them? Why don't we just stand idle and do nothing, or even turn the game off and never return? To explain this, we have to dive a little bit deeper and explore what I call the CozyParadox. The game you see in the background right now is called DaveTheDiver, a game that has sold over 5 million copies since its release in 2023, and that offers you a refined underwater world to explore alongside of running a sushi restaurant. During the day, you're free to hunt for fish, collect ingredients of your choice, and discover hidden stories throughout the decisively crafted areas of the deep blue ocean depths. At night, however, it is your job to provide for and feed customers at your floating sushi palace by handing said ingredients to the master chef Pancho and paying any staff you might hire. While the aquatic realm might already strike some people with fear simply by existing, the briny deep usually acts more like a warm embrace, contrasted by the hectic service scramble and financial juggling that follows at night. DaveTheDiver isn't so much considered a puristic cozy game, mostly because of combat elements and slightly punishing survival mechanics, as well as the whole financial management aspect. But it offers a very clear separation between an often more laid-back component of a game followed by an intentionally more energetic phase. It provides us a good perspective on how a more freely designed gameplay loop with a lot of player choice is often accompanied by a limit of superior goals. Or more simply spoken, the ability to explore the ocean freely is tied to performing well at the restaurant at night. That way, you can buy more upgrades the next time and extend your consecutive dives. This is what is called the gameplay loop. DaveTheDiver manages to separate these two parts into distinct modules of gameplay, while also remaining at control of the player and their experience. A lot of cozy games end up suffering by giving the player all the time and free will in their digital world, not only to achieve certain goals, but also to amass quests and daily tasks that result in a vast, sometimes never-ending backlog of things to do. This is the first step towards the CozyParadox. Players are free to load as many quests upon themselves as they want until they break under the outlook of wanting or even having to complete them all. StardewValley is the perfect example for this. Every time I play it, I start off with this small farm where there's barely anything I really have to do. I can go and chop some wood, pick some weeds or smash some stones. But I can also go into the world and talk to NPCs here and there. But generally, there isn't much I feel a responsibility towards at the beginning. This is something that DaveTheDiver immediately does different by setting up clear goals with rewards in sight. And while I could simply keep my farm in StardewValley in disarray and accept that the game will not let me starve or punish me otherwise for not interacting with it, there is this small primal feeling that I should do something. It subconsciously makes me want to pluck weeds, create order, and raise some chickens, even without the metaphorical carrot on a stick dangling in front of me. Within the blink of an eye, I have created myself a to-do list out of my own volition. Nothing forced me to pick up these chores, and because raising chickens and watering my plants every day isn't enough, I start striving for larger goals step by step. Getting into good relationships with the villagers, finding rare minerals in the mine and completing my museum collection, or fishing for rare fish in stormy rain. StardewValley entices me to keep making new choices and to add new goals to complete into my list of daily tasks, simply because I want to grow in the game. And then, at some point, it becomes too much. And I stop playing. Suddenly, the game feels like work. I have to feed the chickens so they don't die. I have to water and tend to the crops so they don't become crispy carbon. And I have to keep up with making money so I can afford my own goals. I could simply choose not to, but I would only start to punish myself and lay ruin to everything I have achieved so far. My poor chickens and plants don't deserve this, and neither do I. Until this point, the game has always made sure to reward me as the player at most steps of the game, but the daily schedule I force on myself barely leaves time for anything else. The act of running after chores is more cumbersome than the joy of unlocking the next thing. StardewValley is by far not the only game that morphs into an efficiency simulator. DaveTheDiver certainly also becomes such a game quite quickly, and many other games also have similar effects occurring after the cozy beginner phase is over. Animal Crossing starts out as a life escape, but soon opens up to guilt-trip you about the upkeep of your town and pampering of the villagers. Minecraft transitions from finding a place you'd like to stay and exploration into a survival spreadsheet of things yet to be done and resources yet to be collected. And the Sims games initiate you into a sandbox dollhouse of creativity and imaginative storytelling before embracing the idea of the perfect household by replacing spontaneous fun with mechanical upkeep. The CozyParadox is actually quite simple to explain, but just as tricky to avoid when playing or designing a game. The freedom to choose your own direction has to be strong enough to prevent existential dread, but also gentle enough to avoid turning into a dictatorship of goals. Hand too much control to the player, and suddenly watering pixels feels like filing taxes. Leave too little, and the game becomes a guided tour rather than a playground for creativity. The CozyParadox exposes how deeply we link value and individual satisfaction to productivity, even in spaces built to resist it. The more we chase efficiency, the less cozy these games usually become. And the clearer it becomes that cozy games maybe aren't so much just about escaping life, but about escaping how life makes us feel. Being cynical for a moment, if cozy games only show us our own lack of self-control and are a reflection of our need for validation, then why do we play cozy games? To illustrate the point I'm going to make, let's look at the game currently running in the background. Alba, a wildlife adventure. Alba is yet another small indie gem with just a few 100,000 sales that is all about exploring a carefully crafted world that guides you towards one overreaching goal. Complete a collection of wildlife photographs to stop a luxury hotel from turning a nature reserve into a beachfront Starbucks. The gameplay loop in Alba is delightfully simple. Go out to where you want to go and find animals, take a photo, maybe follow some breadcrumbs or traces of animals that are otherwise hard to spot, and talk to some NPCs to solve their requests. Finally, you return home with your collection of the day and progress the story. Alba gives you very specific milestones to reach and doesn't let you progress without completing a certain set of tasks. This prevents the player from becoming lost and overloading their own expectations with self-imposed quests, while also leaving most of the exploration still up to the player. There are certain priorities to address and commitments to honor, but rarely limits set that are not lifted as a reward later on. Above all this, the game adds another layer of interactive player control by letting you shake or nod your head to answer yes or no to NPCs. Everything discussed so far has taught us two of the key pillars of cozy games. Affirmation of action being the first, and meaning simply being there is enough. Cozy games reward awareness and they don't punish you for wandering. And the second pillar being acceptance of self. It is okay to care for yourself and the world. Your actions matter and you have purpose. Cozy games guide you to see self-care and incremental milestones as meaningful goals that provide purpose without pressure. Both these points could be summed up as players are rewarded for their actions without having to fear punishment. Cozy games won't cheer you on for forgetting to water your pixel crops, but they certainly won't rub it in either. A fantastic example for this theory is Outer Wilds. While some players might be struck with the dread of the infinite cosmos, Outer Wilds is a game that features exactly that. Rewards without repercussions. This space exploration game about uncovering secrets and knowledge checkpoints across a vast universe is the epiphany of the mantra curiosity over conquest. Players are given choices at every step of the game and are then rewarded with new information to solve a bigger puzzle, always without anyone yelling at you for not doing it right. The main gameplay mechanic, which I will not spoil here for everyone that has not yet played this masterpiece, offers a much-needed retreat from the need to perform right upon discovery. The game teaches us that not every action needs a purpose and that not every moment needs progress to be meaningful. You can float in space and marvel at a sunrise on some tiny moon, and the game quietly says, "That's enough, you're doing great." Games like Outer Wilds show us how much kinder and cozier even an alien game world feels to us when resting isn't guilt-ridden, even if we have to learn that at first by playing the game. Curiosity is a currency and failure is just another way of saying try something else or come back later. But low risk and high reward alone don't explain why we crave cozy games. To understand the full magic, we need to look at two smaller games that prioritize focus over complexity. Dorfromantik is a tiny indie puzzle game that captivates with its rhythmic and almost meditative gameplay. It quietly sneaks into your brain and convinces you that aligning hexagonal tiles can be the most satisfying thing that you'll do all week. The game radiates coziness in three simple ways. First, it looks and sounds harmonious. From clicking a perfect tile to the gentle puffs of the steamboats on a river. Secondly, it embraces meaningfulness by reduction, by using simple controls of click, rotate, and place. And last, there is no time limit and no enemy. There is no failure aside from not reaching your own high score. Dorfromantik doesn't have much of a progression arc at all. There are no big rewards outside of the satisfaction of lining up a tile well in the moment or unlocking a new skin for your tiles. This makes the game a very good example for another aspect that cozy games can provide. A mind space that simply feels structured but familiar at the same time. Something that Unpacking also does exceptionally well. Unpacking is about inhabiting moments. At its core, it is about taking objects out of moving boxes and finding them a home. No timers, no dialogue, and no failing. Each item tells a fragment of a story. A childhood plushie moving into the first adult home, a toothbrush hiding in a cabinet, but also the diploma asserting dominance on the wall. The game never explains what is happening, but you feel the story throughout placing the objects. You learn something about someone else's life by how their belongings change and what never changes. The act of placing items is slow, deliberate, and sensory. But at the same time, the progression of items, reappearances, and also things going missing create a visceral reaction. Little emotional jolts that make you reflect on continuity, loss, and growth, all while never leaving your own chair. Unpacking masters empathy as a game mechanic, and it simply does this by being honest. Unpacking is by far not a perfect world, but it stays true to its identity and story it creates. This honest, consistent, and yet contained, quiet, and deeply human experience is what radiates coziness in Unpacking. While Dorfromantik shows us that visuals and scenery play a huge role in what creates a cozy game design-wise, Unpacking proves to us that coziness does not have to mean emotional detachment and projection. Coziness can exist within our own four walls and even be a simulation of the things we are familiar with. Cozy games, at their best, don't ask you to win. They ask you to breathe, to notice, and to place things just so. And somehow, that is enough. These insights add the three missing pillars to my list of what makes cozy games so captivating. Space to breathe is the third pillar and means that a cozy game doesn't rush you, it waits with you. You can take your time and do the things at your pace, but also let yourself be guided if needed. The fourth pillar is gentle escapism. Two words that sound big, but tell you that you don't have to escape from life, but into it. You can explore safely without judgment and reconnect with yourself. And lastly, cozy games help you ground yourself. Comfort doesn't just come from peace and quiet. Visuals, mechanics, and world design ground you in a welcoming, gentle space that is supportive and feels in control. As we have explored from the depths of the sea in DaveTheDiver to the edges of cosmos in Outer Wilds, cozy games come in many forms and everyone might feel something else is especially cozy to them. What feels like a warm blanket to one player might be a cup of tea with a side of existential reflection for another. Simply spoken, because every one of us has different emotional needs, different games will speak differently to each of us. I couldn't cover many other cozy games right here, and I urge you to leave your favorite cozy game in the comments below. But I think it is safe to say that some people might feel nostalgia is cozy. that they find their safe space in older games like Super Mario 64 or modern interpretations like Tunic. Others might enjoy simply the act of exploring another world, even when it is more action-focused and story-bound, like in games like The Witcher or Genshin Impact. And let's be honest, yet others again might find coziness in games that simply take your mind off and provide a good time, like wreaking havoc in Untitled Goose Game or Goat Simulator. Whatever floats your boat, cozy games remind us that presence is the reward, not conquest. So let me know which cozy games you love to play and what they mean to you. Closing up, the difficulty of the CozyParadox can often stand in the way of our enjoyment, and it's easy to be paralyzed when thinking about picking up the next farming simulation or open world story game. But in the end, we need cozy games to allow us to breathe and to reflect in a safe space we feel we have under control. Unlike some other media, cozy games don't just let us witness a world, they let us participate in it, shape it, and feel it. They give us choices and an ongoing presence. And some games don't even have a clear end and can be played indefinitely and come back to at any time. Cozy games are a sort of rehearsal for living more fully and with patience, empathy, and attention. Unpacking and StardewValley, despite depicting chores from real life, are not about escaping life, but allow us to practice the kind of world and safety that reality could be. Games like AShortHike don't punish idleness or mindful exploration, but reward awareness and support finding purpose in the journey rather than just the achievement. They remind us that leisure isn't transactional, but that it can be restorative, grounding, and simply human. Right now, we need cozy games not so they can show us our own greed for efficiency and validation, but because they remind us that slowing down, exploring, and connecting can be just as rewarding as achieving or producing something, even if we have to take a break to get there. So go on, plant your crops, climb that mountain, build your village, or unpack that moving box. Cozy games aren't just games. They are a tiny rebellion against the rush of life. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to tell me about your favorite cozy game down in the comments, and until next time. Bye!